Oh, shoot. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Coffee Conversations with Greg J, special edition. You know what? We're going to forego news for the moment and get right to it because our guest today, there's a lot going on out there. Today is the 57th anniversary, the commemoration of the March on Washington, where Dr. Martin Luther King delivered his iconic I Have a Dream speech. Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, converged on the Lincoln Memorial to demand, voting rights, housing rights, just equal rights back there, back in the day. And so now today, here we are. We're joining with, you heard at the funeral of George Floyd that Reverend Al Sharpton was going to convene another march, and he's called it the Commitment March. And here we are, our friends. Pastor Robert D. Bush is on the scene in Washington, D.C., in the streets, literally getting ready to march towards the Lincoln Memorial. He'll be joined by Pastor K.W. Tuloss. Pastor Bush is the president of the Las Vegas chapter of the National Action Network. Pastor Tuloss is the president of the Baptist Ministers Conference, and just some very influential guys and friends of mine, actually, and been in the struggle for a minute here together. And we're going to hear from them in just a few seconds here. I think, let me just bring Pastor Tuloss. He just came in. Pastor Tuloss, good morning, sir. Can you hear me? Good. Pastor Tuloss, can you hear me? Oh, okay. All right. Well, look, just give us the headlines. What's going on where you are?
I'm here live at the March on Washington. As you all can see,
There's Robert Bush. How are you today, brother? Good morning. Okay, we're going to try to make this thing happen. They're out there on the front lines. They're looking to preparing to march down the streets in Washington D.C. And maybe if our connection will get a little better, we can hear from them and maybe even hear. Robert, if you can hear me, tell us what's going on right in front of you. Yeah, the connection is not.
We're doing some preliminary starts at 11 o'clock. So everything now is getting up and ready to march. We came here to demonstrate for people's rights. And as you can see, if you can see it, we have full house, and it's going to be it's a wonderful thing forward.
Who are some of the speakers today that we can expect?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Robert. We can hear you just fine. Now, who are some of the speakers that we can expect today?
Well, of course, the Reverend Al Sharpton, of course, will be here. Martin Luther King III. I'm really looking forward to hearing Dr. Jamal Bryant is going to be one of the speakers. There's so many of them. It's impossible
Yeah, that's a really beautiful thing. We're having a bit of challenge with your audio, and I'm just hoping it's going out on the stream okay. We're just getting a little, a little dropouts here and there. We're too black, too strong for the internet this morning, is what I think. But let me ask you. So, okay, what is the main voice that we're going to hear? Lost all of them. Okay. Well, you know what? We give it a shot. We gave it a shot trying to be live from the Washington, D.C., the commitment march. It's going on there. It was, we lost the guys, and maybe we'll get them back in just a few minutes. Those of you who want to activate today and commemorate and step out in the name of social justice. There's a virtual march going on that is actually organized by Pastor Robert Bush, and I'll send you the link on that on my Facebook pages. There's also a march down in Leimert Park, a rally, and then tonight they're doing some activities. So all over the communities, people are commemorating and we recognize. I mean, it's been a heck of a week. I mean, we started out the week with the news of Jacob Blake out there in Kenosha, Wisconsin. We've had George Floyd. We have Breonna Taylor. We had, the names go on and on and on and on. It's almost as many names as was on that Vietnam memorial out there in Washington, D.C. And having said that, there's Robert. He's back. Okay, so Robert, you were mentioning. So, what are some of the prominent touch points that they're going to make from the podium there in Washington, D.C.? I don't think you can hear me. Thank you, though. Gloria J. Willingham Torre, how are you this morning? Good morning. Thank you for chiming in here. We're trying to get it together. He's LinkedIn, but we can't. We're having a hard time getting it. Probably a lot of, with sometimes when you get in an area with thousands of people, your cell phone connection gets a little iffy because all of your cell phones are pinging off the towers at the same time. And, this is kind of what happens from time to time. We're just trying to make it all work here and see if these brothers can give us a bird's eye view, an up close and personal eyewitness account of what's going on out there. But like we said, just look around all day today. If you don't want to get out in the corona environment, there's virtual commemorations of the of the march. It's time for reflection today, y'all. It's the time for action. Now, last night the man accepted his nomination, and so and they're off. So now everybody's officially accepted their nominations. It's official. It is what it is. And now it's time for voter education. It's time for us to be watchful in such a time as this. We have quite the load in front of us. And, personally, I don't think that even when we vote him out, I mean, that's what I would like to see happen. There's probably folks listening to this broadcast and, low key, supporting Trump, and, that's their right. We don't agree, but, it's okay for all of us to agree. But the point of the matter is that everybody get together and we get to vote. We have got to make a change in this country. We have got to do something about social justice. And I think even after we, remove this present administration, we still will have work to do. We still will need to be vigilant. We will still need to build up our communities and, build up our communities and be just a part of life. We're having a few, I don't know if you guys can, I guess you could see this, This StreamYard's telling us something else about one of our channels, and we're just going to remove that channel. But yes, it's just a critical time. I've never thought that we would be like this. It's almost like my mother used to say when I was a child during the civil rights movement. She would say, hey, the more things change, the more they stay the same. We are expecting and hoping to have Pastor Robert D. Bush of the National Action Network. He's the president of the Las Vegas chapter. And Pastor K.W. Tuloss, he is the president of the Baptist Ministers Conference, and they're out there in Washington, D.C., marching with Reverend Al Sharpton for the Commitment March. And you heard Robert, perhaps you did hear him. He said that they would have Martin Luther King III as one of the speakers. Al Sharpton, of course, Pastor Jamal Bryant, many others today. They're out there on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial commemorating the 57th anniversary of the March on Washington, but most importantly, demanding social justice in this present day and time. It's going on, you guys. I don't know. We're doing the best that we can out here. I hope that you're not complacent. If you have complacent people around them, grab them up and make them get into it. I'll share. I got teenagers and turning 18 just in time to register to vote. So guess what one of their birthday presents will be? Papa gonna take them down to register to vote. Got to be a part of this revolution. Got to be a participant in this situation. Well, listen, hey, let me see here. I think that's about it. Oh, you know what? We gave it a shot. They're out and about on the front lines out there in Washington, D.C. I'll try to, get some snaps and maybe some short videos from on the scene. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching Coffee Conversations with Greg J. And I would love for you to, look at this past week's Coffee Conversations. Yesterday, we had a fantastic discussion about emergency preparedness. In case of disaster, you reading the news, there's floods, there's fires, there's storms. We're prone to earthquakes out here in our little community, but wherever you're watching in the country, get your household prepared. And we had some great guys from fire departments, Long Beach Fire Department and the Los Angeles County Fire Department, as well as a member of the Community Emergency Response Team, CERT, on to share with us, precautions that we need to take. There's a presentation out there about what's to have in your emergency go bag, but just make sure that you and your loved ones are prepared in the event of an emergency in your household. So we got that on your minds too. And next week we're going to be having a discussion about finances and how our personal finances, and hearing from a money manager, a financial expert, is going to come on and discuss some ways that, some things that have happened during the COVID. And we're just going to have a great conversation about our personal finances. And then hopefully we're going to have some conversations with actually South Africa, So let me just share with you about Dr. T. Dr. T will be joining us from South Africa. She is a UN, what would you call those? Not an ambassador, but certainly designated by the UN to investigate this type of work. But her advocacy over on the continent is to let the sex workers be legal and be employees and just make that thing happen. And she's got a lot to say about it. It is a very interesting conversation. All right, y'all. So that's what we have today, 57th anniversary of the March on Washington. There, we know that we know that the I'm actually going out right now. We know that this is the 57th anniversary of the March on Washington, Dr. King's iconic I Have a Dream speech. John Lewis was in that program as well. You've been seeing, clips of that. It's just been, wow, 57 years. I was just a little tyke back in those days, just a little scrub, but what an iconic time. And it's interesting if you really contemplate this time, 57 years, and what has changed? We got to ask ourselves, what has changed? So today is a good day to activate, like I said, out there, Lamert Park, online, probably other communities all across the country, standing up for social justice in such a time as this. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. We gave it a shot trying to get with Pastor Tuloss and Robert D. Bush, but we'll be posting pictures and stuff from them. And maybe we can record some stuff and get their perspectives on the march, the Commitment March, National Action Network, Al Sharpton and them putting it in. All right. God bless you guys. Love one another. Be safe this weekend. Keep your mask on, social distance, keep peaceful, and love one another. Peace and blessings.